Sometimes it feels like the weight of all the noise is just too much to carry. This is 10 Better Minutes, a quiet space to pause and find a wider view. Here, you will hear a few recent true stories that keep the complexity of the world in mind without adding extra weight. Today, we will touch on how a small village is quietly adapting to protect its coast, and how a sanctuary is caring for vulnerable sea turtles during the cold season. But first, let us begin with a story about a young girl whose simple window request brought unexpected kindness from a whole community. An 11-year-old girl named Emily Wilkins was hanging handmade posters in her room at Cincinnati Children's Hospital. Her message was simple and sweet. She just asked for pizza and donuts. You know that feeling when you are stuck in a place you did not choose, and the small things feel like they matter even more than usual. Emily's little window note did not ask for anything fancy. It asked for comfort. And then something quietly amazing happened. Local businesses saw her signs online and decided that her day deserved a bright turn. Snappy Tomato Pizza delivered pizzas, Abbey Girl Sweets sent cupcakes, and Bourbon House Pizza owner Mary Brandstetter did not just arrange a delivery from far away. After talking with Emily's mother, Mary made a personal food visit for Emily and her family. The outcome was not dramatic in the movie way, but it was powerful in real life. Those deliveries helped brighten Emily's days, and her family felt less alone. Emily even shared that it felt good to know strangers wanted to help. Honestly, this is one of those stories that reminds you how trust in people can be more than a hopeful idea. Sometimes it shows up as warm food in your hands, a knock on the door, and strangers turning a small request into community support. Have you ever seen someone step out of their role just long enough to make sure a vulnerable person is safe? During a 1997 King of the Ring pay-per-view, that question became real in the middle of a very public moment. About 1 minute into the Shawn Michaels versus Stone Cold Steve Austin match, Austin noticed a disturbance outside the ring. While the crowd waited for the action to continue, Michaels left the ring mid-match and moved toward the commotion. There, security had a young boy restrained, and Michaels pushed aside the situation with a calm, direct urgency. Then he did something that did not look like performance. He guided the boy carefully, speaking gently and comforting him, making it clear that the boy needed reassurance more than noise. Michaels waved off the guards and escorted the boy down the aisle, handing him off to officials who could keep him comfortable and cared for, including a woman who came running. In front of roughly 13,000 people, the match became, for a moment, less about spectacle and more about protection. When Michaels returned, the bout resumed. Steve Austin held the ropes open as a sign of respect, and the crowd carried that quiet trust forward. It is a reminder that real confidence can look like kindness in the middle of pressure, and that safety should never be treated like an afterthought. When you picture migration, you might imagine a clean path toward warmer water. But for some young sea turtles near Cape Cod Bay, the journey can get tangled, and winter can make help harder to reach. Mass Audubon S. Wellfleet Bay Wildlife Sanctuary spent the 2025 season meeting that need step by step. As sea turtles headed for gentler seas, the hooked shape of the cape became a kind of trap, and some ended up cold stunned, drifting on winds and waves until they were stranded on beaches. That is when staff and volunteers went into motion with beach patrols, careful recovery, and the steady work of getting turtles to the New England Aquarium Sea Turtle Hospital. By December 18, 2025, rescuers had recovered 667 cold-stunned sea turtles from Cape Cod Bay beaches. Most were Kemp S. Ridleys, with 573 of them rescued, along with 67 green sea turtles and 27 loggerheads. The busiest day came on November 29th, when 73 turtles were recovered in one day. Volunteers completed 34 days of beach patrols and facilitated 59 transports. And here's the part that feels truly encouraging. Over 75% of the recovered turtles were alive and transported for rehabilitation. It is a reminder that persistence has a visible outcome, and that when people show up consistently, even a harsh season can still make space for survival. After months of careful care, 5 Kemp's Ridley sea turtles have been able to return to the ocean in a way that feels quietly hopeful and deeply practical. In Quincy, the New England Aquarium's Sea Turtle Hospital rehabilitated them for 7 months, working through conditions that left the turtles unable to survive on their own when they first arrived. Pneumonia, dehydration, and trauma were part of what the team addressed, and the work was slow enough to notice small changes over time. When the release day came, the staff did not just set the turtles free. They released 5 rehabilitated turtles off Cape Cod and tagged them for tracking, so scientists can follow their behavior, habitat use, and survivorship as part of ongoing conservation efforts. Among them were Times New Roman, stranded on December 3, 2025, in Dennis, Massachusetts. Papyrus was stranded on December 5, 2025 in Wellfleet. Gigi was stranded on December 5, 2025 in Brewster. Walter Turncoat arrived on December 10, 2025 in Truro. Punk Kid came in on December 11, 2025, also in Truro. It is a hopeful kind of success, the sort that does not ask us to imagine miracles, only to recognize patience and expertise. Dr. Melissa Joblin, the aquarium's director of animal health, emphasized that the goal is survival in the wild. And now, with the ocean waiting and the data set to keep telling its story, these turtles have a chance to do what their lives were made for. In a coastal part of Tamil Nadu, resilience did not arrive as a slogan. It showed up as repaired waterways, clean energy at everyday public buildings, and people learning together to care for the living systems around them. In Kalai, a climate-vulnerable settlement in the Cuddalore district, a project under the Tamil Nadu Climate Change Mission helped restore strength to the coast. One of the most visible changes was the restoration of a 3-kilometer stretch of the Buckingham Canal, reconnecting the flow of water with healthier surroundings. Clean power became practical, not theoretical. Hybrid solar power and rooftop solar systems, along with cool roof interventions, were installed at places people actually use, including the Panchayat office, the Thalapathy Nagar Community Center, and the Range Forest Officer Guest House. And in nearby Pichavaram, Mangrove Creeks gained a solar-powered electric boat, including a focus on day-to-day operations that fit the rhythm of coastal life. There is also a learning layer to this progress. Through the Green School program, environmental education turns into stewardship, so students and families can recognize what the mangroves, canals, and shore ecosystems need to stay healthy. What I love most is the feeling that resilience can be built with care and planning. When a community restores ecosystems and powers its services with solar energy, it is not only preparing for climate challenges, it is strengthening how people support their own livelihoods. As always, I have a wonderful tip for you to help with your mental reset and find more ease in your day. Today's tip is about knowing when to step away from coverage that is no longer useful, so your mind can breathe again. Sometimes we keep consuming information because it feels responsible. We tell ourselves, if I stop, I might miss something important. But there is a difference between staying informed and staying stuck. Ask yourself a simple question. After you engage with this content, do you feel clearer, calmer, or more capable? Or do you feel heavier, tense, and pulled into a loop? If the coverage is no longer changing what you know, what you do, or what you can act on, it may be time to set it down. Try a pause instead of a fight. Choose a specific time to check in, then let it end when your window is over. If something keeps triggering the same helpless feeling, you do not have to keep feeding it to prove you care. You can care and still step back. Give yourself permission to replace the endless feed with something that restores you. Take a walk, call a friend, drink water slowly. Your attention is a limited resource, and you get to decide where it goes next. All right, friends, we have reached the end of this episode of 10 Better Minutes, And I just want to say thank you for spending a few minutes with me. If today felt heavy, I hope these stories leave you with something quieter and steadier to hold on to. The sense that kindness, decency, and ordinary acts of care are still happening, even when the noise gets loud. If you would like a fresh dose of good news to return to, please follow or subscribe, and I will be here with new episodes every day. This is Ian Rhodes with 10 Better Minutes. Take care, and I will talk with you tomorrow.